What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Iron Maiden, and we're going to go back to the 2021 album Senjutsu. I think I've only reacted to one track from this so far, so still a lot of the double CD to go through. I do want to mention again, just the artwork in this, it's so incredible. Like, just on every page, the level of detail and use of the themes of the album are ever present. So shout out to them. I think especially in the last couple decades, their albums go the extra mile in terms of the artwork and the overall aesthetic. So bottom line, I haven't listened to this album as much as the other ones, which again, I don't know, for anyone new here, I've been listening to Iron Maiden for the last several years, since like 2016, 2017, when my friend, I knew a few tunes by them. I knew Hallowed Be Thy Name, because it was an Escape video I saw when I was a teenager. But yeah, 2016 or so, a friend of mine was like, hey, you should take a closer look. Lots of songs about history, literature, and it would really appeal to you, I think. And he wasn't wrong about that. So yeah, I've gotten all the Bruce Dickinson albums. I didn't get the ones before him or the ones in the 90s when he and Smith were out of the group. But yeah, bottom line, I know all of the other Bruce albums better than this because I just haven't spent as many hours listening to it. So I do know this album and this song. We're going to listen to Days of Future Past, but I don't know it in the way I know songs from Number of the Beast or Power Slave and so on. Nevertheless, Days of Future Past, when I heard this, I wasn't aware that it comes from a specific conceptual or artistic source, which is to say, it's a song that speaks about supernatural beings and eternal damnation, feeling that condemnation in every moment, not just as some designation of your fate, but in every single moment. And I think there's talk about like the Shadow King. So I was like, oh, this is making me think of supernatural beings and this very metaphysical plane or realm. And then I remember reading online that actually it's about the film Constantine, which is in turn, I think, based on a comic series I have not read. I think it's called Hellblazer. So then it was like, oh, okay, these are highly specific references to particular, narrative aspects or characters in these stories. So when I read that, it's like, okay, so my initial thought was like a scene that they were painting. So I still think it works in that way for people who are unfamiliar with the source material. But again, I imagine those who know that movie, I have not seen the movie either. I remember hearing that name, and like, is Keanu Reeves in it? Am I wrong there? I feel like I'm probably wrong there, but yeah, ultimately I haven't seen it or read the comic, so it was like, oh, okay, so I'm only getting some of the layers here thematically, but I still think it works even for those unfamiliar, because it really sets this, again, beyond the scale or scope of human existence type of scene. So I will say it's also notable to me in that I think it's like the fastest track on the album. It sort of alternates between slower tempos and faster tempos, like pretty much every other Iron Maiden tune, right? But yeah, the faster sections here I think are among the fastest on the entire album. So I love that even in 2021, more than 40 years after they started making music, they can still go fast and go hard. So big ups to Iron Maiden. Let's listen to it. This is from the album Senjutsu 2021. Once again, shout out to the artwork. And the song is Days of Future Past. This is the moment we're about to go through some shit.
Sure.
nice raspy delivery. I like the way the second one just overtakes the first. Strings back there. Still to human air raid siren. I know it's not the same Bruce voice of the 1980s, but I like the way it slides back into the tempo change. Shout out to Bruce. Many people I think have rightly pointed out that although it may not be the same Bruce voice of the 80s and early 90s, or even early 2000s, the fact that a guy in his 60s can sing with that power and command is fantastic. So yeah, shout out to Bruce, shout out to the whole band. I love the guitar solos, and they're quick in this one, and indeed I think the song overall might be the shortest on the album, not just in terms of the faster tempos being the fastest, but I think it's like in terms of runtime the shortest. I would say like 4.5 minutes, something like that. Yeah, a little over 4. In fact, 4:04. So just about 4 minutes. A lot of their songs are longer, but I enjoy that. Again, even 40 years plus into their discography, they can still go fast and do just a thrashing kind of tune. So yeah, big ups to them. Again, I'm sure anyone who has seen the films and or knows those comics can confirm or deny that the lyrics are related. I do remember reading that online, but obviously not everything everyone says about music online turns out to be entirely accurate, or it's sometimes like, yeah, it's related, but maybe not in the way that you read. So either way, I am curious about that. As I said, I think it works conceptually or visually even without that background knowledge or context. But yeah, once again, we'll go through more Senjutsu. We've really just scratched the surface. And indeed, that's basically the case with all of their post-2000 albums. I went through a couple from Brave New World recently, but still a lot to go there. Dance of Death, lots more to go through. So do let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.